Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? I'm going to give a quick update on the Peterson Surfacer, which is basically running. It's got its quirks and I'm going to go over them. And I've got to surface these Subaru blocks, which I have jigged up here on my own little jig I have made. And here it is, it's all done. And let me give you some of the details. Okay, so first, the biggest change is probably that the machine is white instead of red. I have one quick layer of Rust-Oleum on it, and I'm going to put a second layer on, and that's why it's real kind of gross still. When I painted it, the red kind of bled through, so it's kind of pink if you were look at it real close. So anyways, we figured we'd coat it with two, but it looks nice, so that's good. Let's see here. I have jerry-rigged this switch here for the travel mechanism, which is right there. So I'm going to show you how this works. This is forward, and that is reverse. So let's go forward because it's all the way back. Ready? So if I twist this, see that in the back there spinning? I'm going to make sure I don't crash because I didn't adjust the height. But you see what's going on. We're moving the fly cutter. And if we need to go back, so I'm going to make this is just the prototype setup for this basic ball screw control. I need to make a controller that holds it up, or we might put it here. We haven't decided. So anyways, we put a chip guard on it, which is literally this piece of aluminum. So that was real simple. I just bent it on a pipe, and there it is. It fits. And then I put this here to it follows right over it and the chips fall down. No, you don't want the chips to land on the rail in the midst of your cut. So you do need to have stuff, this thing had full chip guards all the way up to here when it was a surface grinder. So other than that, the table is not real flat. So everything has to be shimmed from the bottom up. I did manage to use this machinist jack in tandem with this clamp to push up and pull down and really secure the table. I have other clamps under here that hold it to the main bar. And then I have these, there's one here, there, and there to kind of balance out the table ever so slightly for minor adjustments. So the fix is gonna be to surface grind this, which we're going to do once we have some of these jobs that I have in here put through. So it's cutting real nice. We have a good finish. We've had to do a lot of adjustments to the motor in that system, which I will get into right now. So let me do that. But to finish off the table conversation here, we do know that it was zeroed out from here to here, almost dead nuts when I put the table on and indicated in off of the fly cutter head. So that's kind of nice. It just has a random bow in the middle, but not on the outsides here. So what I've been doing is putting a bar stock across and then putting something through the center. And then I totally can dial indicate stuff in. I even put a long bar on top so I can really kind of average out. I can kind of average stuff out if I have to, or go from there to all the way to here. And I have a longer one. This thing's smooth, and I can kind of tell what angle everything is. And 99% of the time, the Subaru blocks are dead nuts the same height. Very rarely are they more than 2 thousandths. So it's pretty easy to true the machine in this way and get them to at least be the same height. So that's the goal here. Plus having a nice finish. So the table thing isn't perfect. We'll just admit to that right now. We're just doing what we have with us. So, okay, so the first major change was precision ground shaft, ba-ding, and then rubber bushings in the coupler, and then upgraded pulley and had to get different bearings. So everything's new as far as that goes. The reason why we did that is the shaft itself was not precision ground. You're gonna need that. You're gonna want as much precision, everything in here. Even this pulley, I wish I could get a higher quality one. You don't want any vibration because it's gonna, regardless of how sturdy you are, gonna make its way down into this. So we're fighting vibration from this. This is probably the cheapest motor I could have started with, and it vibrates and hums really bad. So that we believe is the cause of any of our vibration to the whole system. We have this where we don't think this vibrates at all if it's in neutral. So that's kind of nice. So what we have going on is we've had to put rubber bushings, or a big thick rubber, that thick. And then I also did that here, okay, on top of this thing. And that really helped out quite a bit, okay? I mean, it went from a really shiny finish that you could see the machine marks in, and pretty much, I wouldn't say you can feel them if you back drag your fingernail. Again, I don't have a profilometer to show you guys. It's coming. Everybody that explains to me that it's not coming. Like, I'm waiting for friends that say they have them and then they don't have them. And then my dad's going to buy one, but they're expensive and he's waiting on some stuff to pan out, which I understand. The fact that he's saying he's going to go get one, pretty cool thing. So we'll have one. I still don't have one today though. So anyways, I'm doing good with what we have. So we will update this motor. We will update this whole bracket probably, okay? And you want to get some type of balanced electric motor, obviously. And you shouldn't have nearly the vibration, but with the locks down, we got it to where it has very minimal effect. But I can't quote that. Again, I don't have a profilometer, so. And I haven't put a precision motor on it to test it with a precision motor. So it's good enough for me. I mean, one day it'll be perfect, but this thing is pretty much, it's the best finish we've ever had here. So it does way better than the mill, and the mill did pretty darn good. So you shall see. So let me cut this thing and I'll show you a few of my things I'm putting up with today that we're going to modify, and then we'll go from there. But as far as the thing, it's technically done. I mean, it needs probably a better electrical on-off switch for that. I want to switch to 3-phase with a variable frequency drive when I change the motor. Okay, so guys, start out there. Get 3-phase with a variable frequency drive that has an inverter in it, or a phase converter in it. So I think that's where one mistake I made was that. So should have bought a different motor setup. So anyways, enough with that. Let me show you how this thing works. I'm going to indicate all this in, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to show you how I indicate this in. Okay, basically I zero out the gauge that I have on the fly cutter on a nice flat straight edge. Okay, all the way to here. And then I can drive the machine here, which I'm not trying to get you motion sick, but I'm going to control it here, which I showed you earlier on my makeshift controller that isn't finished, but it moves the machine. So I can travel this thing down. You can see that'll be a little higher, I believe, about 2000s. Okay. That might be about 5 or 7 by the time down. I'll leave that. No, what we have to understand here is that height, all these combined should be roughly the same. So we're going to play the gym game, and we're going to get this to 0. Okay, so right now we're what? 9, 8.5 to 9. Let's call that, let's just call it 8. Yeah, let's call it 8. Okay, so we are 8. Let me show you one quick check here. We are 8 high. Okay. Now, I already have my prep feeler gauges in here. You can see them. There they are. And they are 7. Okay, so the fact that this is at what 8 is mainly because of that, guys. Where is it? There it is. See that? There they are. So I'm going to take those out, and I'm going to leave the machine right here and try not to bump anything, and we'll just see if it's dialed pretty much dead nuts. There it is. So hold on a second. Okay, I am back, and I took out our 2 shims down here. And I am 1 thou technically high. Let me move this around. I mean, I didn't move any of the dial indicator at all. So we're gonna zero this out. Okay, we're gonna send her back. So there we are. My predictions are correct. Now what I'm dealing with these shims is a dish in this table and having to get these plates right. And I'm squaring everything off the decks. So that makes sense here. And I'm fixturing it all by the main flat, okay, but we're not dealing with Mr. Perfect table today. So anyways, this is looking good, you know, right there. So we're doing good. So let's try this. I'm gonna take this off here. I'm just gonna set it over here for today. All right, now we're going to go forward. Oops. Forward. And I'm gonna get this right on the deck. Right about there. Let me pull this down. You guys wanna watch me do this, I'm sure. Whee! All right, now I gotta watch. So I'm gonna put this here. Let's go to here. Oh, I'm gonna have to move the table, oops, ever so slightly forward. There we go. Now, let's go all the way up, barely down to 0. There we go. Okay, oops, well, I locked it and it did that, so I'm gonna do that. So we're nice on 0. Okay, I'm back and I took away 3, added 3, and we are now, right here is where that was. So we're gonna 0 that just ever so slightly. Okay, and then, sorry about that, y'all. We're gonna drive this backwards and see where we are here. -1.5 to 2. It's hard to do that through the camera. 1.5, okay. Where are we? 1 thou in the end. So 1 thou low right here, which could be the block. We're trying to plus or minus 2 for the whole thing. That one is at -0.5. So we maybe add 1 thou right in the middle. That might be wise. And then we're basically 0 right here. I would almost call that fine, but since I have snout to snout here, I accidentally paused the camera. Since we have snout to snout here, and we have 1 thou off, 2 of them together is 2 thousandths off. So we wanna make sure that is dead nuts. So I'm gonna change this shim to whatever they match. I'm gonna switch them to 1 thou bigger, and then I think we're dead nuts. And we'll check it one last time. Okay, we're back, and let's 0 out the fixture, or the cutter head, whatever you want to. So here, make sure you are on plane, and that's 2 blocks. That's those blocks. Keep in mind, almost 10 blocks, not perfect. Okay, try to get them average out, so we can and you look better on this. And we're getting into the now. You got a little shot on camera. I'm sorry. There's a low price spot, off like so now, all that work. We are what? 1 thousandths high here. And that's only a 3 thou shim. I might be able to tweak that alone, might tweak when I tune it this way here in a second. So what I'm gonna do now is lift this up. Ooh, do this. You guys all wanna watch me do that, huh? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put it pretty much in the middle here. Okay, now check the blocks on the y-axis and check the averages out. I'm gonna put a block here, but I might put one under it because I put pins in here and these protrude like 2 thousandths. So if I have to do a couple skim passes before I even hit the deck to flatten those out. So right now putting a flat right here, these are in the way. So I would have to put it here. But I actually think I'm gonna go do it on this block. And I might have a bar that randomly fits between there. So let me go check, hold on. Okay, I am back. And this is the straight edge I'm gonna use. I'm gonna show you kind of what we have going on here at this point. So you might be 0 there, but when the head moves, the orbit is not playing with this deck. And that is what, 4 thousandths low on that side. See, if I pull up, it's higher. Okay, so we are low. And if we were to extend this, I'm sure it even goes even more to about 6. So what we're gonna do, since that side is low, we can tweak this by loosening the screw. Now, normally, let me explain. There's normally a big, massive C-clamp and a wheel on this machine, which is missing, and I found it, and it's broken, and I'm gonna try to get it fixed. So this is what we're gonna use now. I can either tighten this, which won't do anything because we are like squished on this. So you have to loosen this ever so slightly, because I'm in the 5 or 6 thousandths range here. So I'm gonna have to mess with this for just a second, which I'll show you how I do that. Really what I wanna do is say this is 0 and try to bring this side down. Okay, so now you can look at it that way where we are 7 thou high, or even more. So then we can see this here. So we need to go down, and I have the wrenches right here, and I have to hold this and loosen that, and then tighten this thing ever so slightly. So give me just a second here, okay? Okay, I am back one last time with this silly gauge, showing you what we have going on here. I'm gonna 0 that dead nuts. We're gonna give this the old plane all the way to the end here so you can see what's going on. See that? 0. So now, we're at least square with that block. I'm 99% sure it's square here, but we can always double check it. So that's what I should do. Give me just a second. Okay, I 0'd it out. And let me not touch it. It doesn't flex at all, so it doesn't matter. But as you can see, we're pretty much dead nuts. I mean, that's what? Barely a 2.5. Technically over the block, it's 1.5. So the other side's perfect. This one's a little bit twisted. So this is the one that had that weird low spot too. So that's all within tolerance here to get this thing trimmed down. So let's send the machine back, and I'm gonna we take this gauge off now. I'm gonna set it here. When you are backed up on equipment, hell to pay, but one day it will get done, and I got this thing done. So we've been able to get a V8 intake manifold in it. I'm gonna put this cast iron flat head in it that was hell to clean, but it turned out really nice. I crack detected it. One of my first good cast iron blocks. It's barely starting to turn brown, but I don't know if you can tell that it's not still. So these are just jobs I'm trying to get in and out of my little machine shop here, everyone, and get it going. The Subaru thing's going great. Performance CBN has been sending us more tools. They're the ones who have outfitted this with that, which is my pops, and I do work for him. Everybody probably knows that, but they might not, but blah, blah, blah. I work for my dad, and he's having me test out his cutters he makes on this thing, so check them out. Now I'm going to cut these, and I'm going to show you the finish, but I got to give you a before and explain maybe in 2 seconds. This is my SubaruMachine.com pin deck conversion that I've been doing. I have been using a special Loctite because when this thing cuts, it hits them very hard and it wants to, well, it doesn't want to pull them out, but if they were just in neutral, they would pull out and shoot across the room. Don't ask how I know that. But anyways, these are in there nice. I've trimmed them with my mill, and these are ready to get surfaced. And then, you know, it looks honed. It is not. I torque plate hone it in the quick way, power hone. That's what I'm going to do with it. So I'm trying desperately to get a good Subaru boring jig made. In future episodes, like what I'm doing next week. Here's the plate. It's very, very thick, 1.5 inches. And it's precision ground, or at least milled flat. So we're going to measure it and triple check that it's super flat. I might surface grind it somewhere. We could technically flatten it out on here if it was way off, but I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to make a boring bar table for a Subaru block out of that in my next videos. And then we're also going to upgrade this some more. So stay tuned, like and share and subscribe like us YouTubers tell you to do. Just at least like the video. Put in a nice, friendly comment. You know, hey, cool project, feller. You know, you're giving it your all. I could really use some of those today. I haven't had anybody really be down on YouTube over this. But I'm trying to put this into real world application. And that means you got to flip the burgers pretty fast. You know, that's the game. And this thing has taken some time. And that is the bottom line. It took some time. So I'm going to get to work. I'm glad I could make this video after getting all the urgent jobs out. But like I said, there's still a tail end to that in my life. So I'm just glad I can rush through this video today and give you an update. So let's cut this thing and you shall see what's going on. It's looking nice. So give me just a second. Okay, so this is what the machine sounds like when it's running. I can feel an obvious vibration. Okay, now there is a funny Lovejoy coupling right about here that has backlash in it by design, and I believe that's what you're hearing in here. Okay, if you put your hand here, you can feel the same vibration as this, just barely. Okay, travels down. So anyways, I got the machine running. I've gone down and back a few times to trim the pins. Okay, let me give you a zoom in on these. These have not been trimmed. Those ones were protruding and did get trimmed. Okay, that one too. That one too. But some of them are right at the deck within like 1 or 2 thousandths. And I am at, I was at 3 thousandths from deck height on the last pass. So now we are at deck height. So I figured I'd show you guys right here a cut. Okay, I'm on the back side of the machine and I'm sending it back, but I'm going to show you it seemed like it cut a little bit high here. I'm going to show you some of the finish that we're getting out of here right now. I'm kind of feeding it goofy because I don't want to interject on a pin and shoot it out, so I'm kind of feeding it slow, but as you can see, we're cutting all the way across now. I lowered it 2 thousandths. Okay. And that's what we have going on in here. Give it the old cut. What's going to happen is I'll be giving it a finish pass the other way. Assuming that this cleans everything up, I'm still going to give it a tiny little finish pass. So yeah, give me just a minute. You can see I'm skimming her back there. So give me just a minute. We'll let her do its job and show you this nice shiny finish. You can see a little bit of it now. Okay, I got a little bit of streaking going on, but I don't know how if you can tell how it's like very, very, very good. in my opinion. I can like not even do this. You can see the grooves in there, okay? But she's pretty good. So anyways, we'll let the machine do its thing. Okay, we're back and I'm doing the final pass here. There's a, well, I won't get too crazy looking around the machine for you, but there's a second lock on it that I do at final pass, which helps give it a little bit more rigidity. I'll zoom out here. It's right here in that hole. And then the main lock is this one. So basically I leave it for my first couple cuts. I don't really tighten the bottom one until I really need the finish to be really nice. That way I can adjust the machine quick. So we're actually giving her a cut right now. This will be the final pass. So anywho, there they are. If you guys want to check out some of my work, I have a whole website dedicated to Subarus. Okay, it's SubaruMachine.com. Okay, I'll put a link in the description. And I can do this conversion. I'm doing them pretty much every week now. It's not the greatest, best thing since sliced bread, but I can do it here in-house on top of the decking and boring and honing. Okay, so with the 3, I can get the Subaru blocks in and out. I also have the line hone. It's in the cabinet right down here. We'll do that on a future episode. And then we also have, I do the pin mains, or the pin deck, and I'm getting into pin mains right next after this one. I got a fixture on order to try to do that and start line honing. So this was the end mill we used for the pin mains. I'm sorry, pin deck. We have them in stock. Okay, I have other sizes also. And then, okay, let's take a quick look at our finish. Now we used positive rake inserts, so it was very, 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 very sharp. It's so sharp, it makes such a reflective finish. You can see every schmear in it from cutting. But I'm happy with this cut. I know there is improvements, okay? But until I profilometer it, we don't have a, you know, we don't know the actual true surface. But this is definitely awesome. It beats the milling machine, okay? I don't know, you can just tell. I know you guys are like, this isn't true, and there is some lines in here. I mean, but look right over the pin. You can see my thumbnail there. So yeah, right here where the oil, this is where you can't have any, on a Subaru, you can't have any grooves here because it will leak oil out your head gasket. This is a very important spot. Okay, right here. On the heads too, okay? So anyways, more tips. I'll give you some Subaru tips, guys, if you, you know, subscribe to the channel. I am not the Subaru master. I've just dealt with the blocks a lot. I'm not a big tuner. I like that stuff and all, but I'm in the machine shop, so that's just not my role. I also don't paint. I want to paint. I'm going to do some DIY paint on my race car, but that's not my profession. So there's that cartridge. Let me get this insert over here. There it is. That's the positive rake insert in cartridge we put up in another episode, okay? So it worked great. I'm going to send the machine back. Okay. Some other upgrades we've done. We sent this out and got it balanced. It might be cleaner than the last time you saw it. And we put holes in it to kind of get some weight out of it. Didn't do much. I should have used a bigger hole saw. That was my mistake. Now I'd have to indicate each one and cut them out and rebalance it. So it's really not an issue. So anyways, that is the Peterson conversion project. I'll probably clean it up even more and give another update episode through the summer. You know, it's kind of like just getting into summer and work is getting heavy. And there's not a lot of shops in town where I'm at. So people really need this surfacer getting jobs out. Me included, because it is now my income. So I'm trying to maybe get a second one to do blocks or and have this one's deck finished and do heads on it. There might be another one coming in. I'm going to have to move the hone over here and get rid of that table altogether. But I have a line on a second Peterson, just like this one. So I told them I would take it. You know, I got this one dialed in to where I can dial it in even more to perfection and really make it as good as I want. Okay. And I hope all you watching learned a few things. Get a good motor. It can't vibrate. That's no matter how good everything else was, that really messed us up for about a month. We were like, man, this isn't perfect. What's wrong? And it's still not perfect. Okay. You can see these lines. Okay. But I mean, you can see that rainbow finish right in it. You know, you can see the iPhone camera right there. Now, let's compare. You stayed to this. Let's compare. Okay. Let me get this right where it focuses in. I have another block right over there. Okay. Hold on. Let me clean this off. Okay. See my... Okay, now let's go to this block. Okay. Let's get right in on it. Now, this one was done a while ago. Man, I tried to wipe it off, but that's tape. I had tape on it. Now, you can see machining marks in this one, too. There they are. Okay, but you can tell the difference. I mean, he's still got machining marks, but they're different than mine. Now, I think my machine, since it's 100 years old, I'm sure I could use new bearings in my spindle that actually holds the fly cutter. Yeah, I wiped it down with a rag just to clean it for a second. Let me see how clean I can get this. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate the kind comments, like I said earlier, and the people that are interested in this stuff. Actually give me comments that they're interested in this stuff. So anyways, there it is. So this is a 2.0 pin deck conversion here. Okay, that's the 2.0. That has a pin I have to put here and here, where the 2.5 turbos, most of them have a spot there, and I only have to put these in. Now, this is a lot bigger water jacket than the 2.5s. It's like a lot thicker. And then sometimes I even use smaller pins on this one. This one here, see the water jacket small. I got to really bite into the cylinder with these, especially that one right there. But anyways, these are awesome. Now, they do not restrict the coolant flow. Coolant goes this way. Well, let me move my hand back. The coolant here goes in, and it goes this direction, and in the head in that direction, or vice versa. But you get my point. It's not like coolant's going back and forth this way. The rush of the coolant is kind of like in the pattern of, because it does not, coolant cannot connect through here or here. See that aluminum right there? And see that aluminum right there? That means this is its own water cavity, and this is its own water cavity. Okay, so that means it's not like the water is going to get interfered with these pins. It's just going to divide and go into the head gasket area, which you got to keep in mind. When you put the head gasket on, there's only a few holes in it for coolant to go through, and then the head is almost completely flat or solid, so only a few holes in there. So it's not like coolant is going this way and this way, constantly cooling the cylinder. It's going this way, straight into the head. Anyways, that was my little coolant lesson on there. We've had to study that like crazy doing the conversion. Anyways, I hope you guys like it. On to the next one. Thank you for watching.